Good morning, I am Adam Harris, and this is The Day Ahead. Don't forget to click subscribe below to receive daily market analysis videos and important alerts. On the economic calendar for today, there's UK ILO unemployment rate and average earnings data out at 9:30 a.m. And in the currencies, we wait on the US dollar to see if big reversals take place, which may also impact the commodity metals gold and silver. In the global indices and equities, although the trends are healthy, many charts are approaching key levels of resistance, and today will tell us just how bullish the markets are. You can jump to any chapter by clicking on the time link in the description below. Onto the currencies first and having a look at that US dollar index. Prices pulled back to the 96.50 level and produced a bit of a swing low in the early hours of this morning now that the US is back and open and trading as per normal. And so here we go. This, my expectation for today is to see this now attempt to head back up to 97, and what that really means ultimately is the same actually for euro, or the inverse for euro US dollar. Nice little bearish rejection there of that clear level of support, and looking to see the euro head lower throughout the day today. Also new on my watch list for today is the dollar yen. So prices pull back into the moving averages. The only concern I really have is that JPY charts are not really trending very well at the moment. They haven't really since we've had a bit of that flash crash in early January, and of course it's heading straight up into a level of resistance, but it is trending upwards, it is back in the moving averages, and it is looking bullish. So there are some potential opportunities there on the lower time frame. Looking at cable's actually also come back and produced a bit of a swing high, so that looks as though that will potentially head lower. EuroCAD on my list, just basically trickling along, not trending very well, but generally speaking heading lower, and so that trade's still open and running. And then Swissy yen, waiting on this to ultimately break through this level, so there's no changes here. Again, this is potentially likely to actually happen next week, so might as well not to concern myself with it too much. And then lastly on my list for today, Aussie Kiwi. And Aussie Kiwi, there's no real change, waiting for price to come back and retest this level of support for resistance, and then ultimately head lower, so no real change there. In the commodities on the move, and having a look at gold. So gold is appearing to be encountering some resistance here. A little bit of a swing at the moment. It's very early to tell, early on in the day today. So actually what I'm looking to see obviously is to see this ultimately break through and head on higher. What I am just noting is the clear bearish divergence. The momentum indicator should be climbing as price has been climbing, but actually as we've been getting fresh highs on price, we've actually been getting lower highs on the MACD. So what that really implies is price will either consolidate or head back down lower, at least in the medium term. So a little bit cautious with regards to gold at the moment. Silver also encountering some clear resistance at that 1583 level, and encountering it there, so likely to see that head a little bit low, especially if we do get that stronger US dollar today. Palladium, of course, doing incredibly well, so continuing to offer opportunities on multiple time frames. But also here on the daily, I would be waiting for a retracement back into this level of resistance and to test it for support. But for the time being, that price action looking very much as though it's quite happy to continue heading higher. There's no signs of hesitation there as well. Crude oil, looking at this here, in general, expecting this to climb higher. The quality of this trend is not really ideal, but expect it to continue and climb higher throughout the day. It actually looks really good when I have a look at Brent. Brent is similar to Palladium in terms of it's just continuing to climb. At some point I hope to get a retracement back to this level, looking for a swing entry to go long, but for the time being having to look at entries on the lower time frames, 4 hour, 1 hour time frames, looking to find entries into the trends on those time frames. Let's have a look at the global indices, and actually these trends are continuing up. We've got a little bit of a swing high forming here, and at some point, of course, I'm now stalking re-entries into this trend, so looking for price to retrace down to key levels or back into the moving averages to that point of equilibrium. So that's Wall Street, the S&P 500 as well, similar, also starting to produce that swing high. The momentum indicators are looking nice and healthy, so there's no real concerns at this time, other than the fact that price just sort of trickling up and looking for these retracements back into the moving averages and re-entries, but also cautious as we approach key levels. But a few of them sitting close to key levels as of today. So it'll be interesting to see how that's getting impacted here. Looking, for example, at the FTSE 100, the UK 100, and again, momentum indicators seem very nice and happy. Price retracing back down into the previous highs. This being actually a potential area, pulling back into the moving averages. If I do get a nice little strong bullish signal here, that will make sense to re-enter at that point. also at some point a deeper retracement down towards these highs here will be fine. That'll suit me as well. For the most part, the markets have been incredibly nice and bullish and recovered. I think the stats were quite high, up to 70% of their losses in 2018 in some of the markets, so that's pretty encouraging. Here we go, we've got Germany 30 as well, just close to a resistance level, and so a little bit more cautious in markets where that trend has not been as strong on the daily. But here again, also you can see there's some resistance reaction there for the Hong Kong and Hang Seng, looking at price close to those levels. But this is a really good area for it to build some support if it's going to consolidate before climbing higher. And then the Australia 200 as well, approaching a key level of resistance as well. So as I approach these levels as price action approaches these levels of resistance, and I'm obviously exercising more caution, but in general I'm still looking for deeper retracements and entries to the upside, as opposed to looking for reasons to short the market. And lastly for today, the selected equities in focus. So because of course the US was on holiday, there's been no real change in the US equities principally. So still looking at this strong resistance on Netflix, Boston Scientific, for example. The key thing here is we've broken through to new highs, fresh highs. The momentum indicator is looking really nice and healthy. I want to see if price can retrace and test these levels, but overall that looks very good and set to continue. Then having a look at the traditionally sort of downtrending ones on my watch list, really what I'm going to be looking for here is to see how well support holds up. If support levels hold up, so this is EasyJet, having a look at Barclays for example, if overall the price refuses to go lower and ping pongs around going sideways, that's a really good sign in terms of the underlying strength of the market. Standard Chartered here is sitting between two key levels, very close to each other, both established levels of support and resistance, and I'm interested to see how well the levels of support hold up, because these are more bearish equities on my list. If those support levels hold up, that does tell me then of course that there is actually some underlying strength in the market. And for example, here's Lloyd's Bank as well, also consolidating, going sideways, looking nice and bullish. Once they start to break out and upwards of these support and resistance levels, creating fresh support levels but actually breaking up through resistance levels, then my expectation of course is that supports the stronger market in general. So for the moment, not seeing any trading opportunities on any of these, but just using them more in terms of analysis, and really wanting to see how the US market's being back in action today, what the outcome of that is. So on that note, ladies and gents, I will see you tomorrow morning. If it's trending, I'll be there. Have a great day. Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.